last year, they won't with the new one. All we have to do is flip that switch there and it comes on. We just have to flip we have to pull them down and put them on. We could just do that, whatever. That's fine. I just plugged it in just in case we need to charge it. Still may lose it a little bit.
It's so good.
Yeah.
Okay, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
You can't because John is still talking. Just kidding. I did that. I didn't mean to make you feel that. You feel great? Okay. Well, I ask permission now for being the workhorse, tracking the whip, because I'm the one who made the schedule. And I'm high-strung type A, so I'm going to be wanting to keep us on schedule the whole time and make sure we get through everything, because we have a lot to do for you guys. We planned a big weekend. We're very excited to have you here. So I'm Tamara Stacy.
Right there.
Right here?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm Tamara Stacy. If you knew me in Aji, I did not look like this. I had long brown hair, which I had for 18 years, and then I went to get highlights and this happened. 12 hours later, and there was a big accident, and I had to chop the hair off, so I hope you like it. I'm still deciding. It's going on. So anyway, my husband likes it. My husband, David, is here this weekend. He's in the red shirt, and if you need anything, he's kind of halfway part of the team and can help out. But you'll also see that most of us that are on the team have our K t-shirts on, and that's so you can recognize if you need anything, a glass of water, a pen, to know where the restrooms are, toilet paper's out, whatever it is. There's no job too menial. We will help you out with anything. If you need us to walk down the street and get you non-butter coffee, we'll do that too, or make you coffee. So anything you need, get from the team. And I think we'll go through introductions with them later. Oh, Gary keeps wanting me to go over.
Stay right there.
Sorry. I keep wanting to see everybody's faces. So Tamara Stacy, I think when you knew me in Aji, I was working at Walmart as executive there, and Christina, it took her 10 years, but she finally talked me into being a business partner with her. So we've been doing, once she started the Christina.com venture, which was about 1.5 years ago, I've been working with her on this. So this is a new thing for me, being an entrepreneur, but she's teaching me a lot, and so I'll be glad to share some of my journey with her through the weekend. Hopefully it will help you guys too. And I'm going to go through a few logistics. So we wanted to have this here because this is such a special Zen place for, can you guys hear me? Okay, for Christina and Gary. This is their office, their business that they built in the real estate industry, and there are a lot of people here who have followed them as realtors. And so it's a special place for Christina and Gary and for us as a business. So we wanted to have our first kickoff marriage and money workshop here in this space. There are some limitations to that. We have 2 bathrooms, so you guys have already experienced that. And if you need to use the restroom while someone's teaching, let me know if we need more break time, and I'll be trying to be aware of your biology. But go out the back door and around because you'll be walking right through cameras this way. So that's one of our limitations of this space that we wanted to be in. But otherwise, we wanted to make sure we had a lot of really beautiful light, space for you guys to have conversations outdoors, because so many conferences, you get stuck in this windowless room, and I think it would be hard to really be in a Zen place and move together as a couple in that space. So that's why we chose this particular place, and so just forgive us for some of the limitations of it, and help us work with you. Let us know what you need to make that not uncomfortable at any point in time. The kitchen is yours, so if you really love iced tea like my husband, go buy some and stick it in the fridge. If you need water, refills in your glasses, if we haven't gotten to it, go grab water out of there. And we'll have snacks there in between, so you constantly have munchy stuff throughout the day. So this kitchen is your kitchen, and if you need some more coffee like we've been making, just let us know. I'm gonna look at my notes and make sure I'm not forgetting anything. Let me go through the schedule for today, and so you know how the flow is going to be throughout the day. Because of the bathroom situation, I'm very sensitive to making sure you guys know when you're going to have the opportunities to take a break, get outside, fix your lipstick, whatever it is, guys. And so the flow of the day, if you look in the front of your workbooks, let's see what page it is. Page 4. And you look at the Friday schedule, we may not stick exactly to these times, but it gives you a sense for the flow of the day. So Christina's going to come up and give an intro here and check in with you guys and start teaching. And then we're going to take a quick bio break, like 5 minutes, just to make sure that, coffee's run through anybody. They can take care of that. And then we have Scott Campbell, who's a psychologist here in town. He runs the Neurobehavioral Institute, was a founder of that. And he's really going to give us some skills. He worked with David and I a little bit before this weekend, so I could see him in action and see what he was going to do for the group. And what we realized is we feel like we're pretty good at talking through things, but he gave us some language and some skills to be able to go deeper and make it more meaningful. So he's going to work with us on that, so that, because today all of the 5 P's that Christina's going to go through are the emotional ones. So he's going to help us get the language and be able to have those conversations in a more effective and meaningful way. So he's going to be great and work with us for about an hour. And then Christina's going to go into the first 5 P's, and she's going to tell you a little bit about the 10 P's and the first 5 ones that we're going to talk about today. And in between, so Christina, we have her scheduled to talk for about 30 minutes, and then you'll have 30 minutes for an exercise on any of the P's. And that would be your time to get more coffee, get water, work on your exercise, take a bio break. And we've got all of this space. So I know you guys did a tour of the space. So that's kind of the flow of things. So when you're planning out things and thinking, no, I'll just wait until the next break to go to the bathroom, you probably got 30 minutes to sit and cross your legs. So that's the kind of the flow of the day. And then we're going to have a happy hour here at the end of the day and celebrate what we accomplished today. That's the flow of the day. Any questions about that or comments? You guys are good? Okay. One of the things you'll notice, so you guys who have been sitting on bar stools now for 30 minutes, I don't know how your butts are feeling, but we very intentionally set the room this way. Standing is the new, or sitting is the new smoking. So a lot of people are using these stand-up desks and all of that. So that's what these tables are for. You can absolutely use the seats, but it's if people want to stand. And then obviously these are for those of us like me who want to sit down and relax. Now, because we've got like half and half, we wanted to let people move around. So when you take a break, take your stuff with you, work through your workbook, and then come back and maybe switch and let somebody else sit down and you do a little bit of the stand-up or sit down on the high bar stools. So in order to accommodate everybody, we're also making the request that you take care of each other, and if somebody needs a cushy seat, then they can take that and we can switch off back and forth. And it's kind of intentional too, because there's a lot of change we want you guys to experience this weekend. So changing your perspective, where you're sitting, sit in the front of the room sometimes, sit in the back of the room sometimes, and experience like biologically how things shift and what you notice, and how irritating it is to look at the back of someone's head after you've been sitting in the front. So that's somewhat intentional too. Lunch will be served. You'll be doing an exercise during lunch, so you'll be able to choose where you want to be and then they'll serve you. So you don't have to worry about food. So snacks will be in here, but lunch will be served. And then we are bringing a photographer in at the end of the day. So during happy hour, we're going to do some couple shots. So you'll have a picture to take home from this weekend. So that's happening later too. And then the role I will be playing, Christina may look at me at different points and say, hey, do I need to shut up, or do you have anything else to say, or can you go through the exercise? So I'm just going to be sitting up here and kind of being available when she needs me, and making sure you guys have what you need. So that was all I really wanted to cover, Gary. Oh, thank you. So because we're filming, you guys have been through this before, I'm sure, at conferences, we wanted to make sure phones are on silent. So you can keep your phone by you, but just check it to make sure it's not going to ding, ring, buzz, or, make funky sounds, typewriters, whatever the sound is. How are you guys this morning? Pretty good? Excited to be here? Are you hot? Temperature okay for people? Okay. Well, Christina, come up and welcome everybody.
This is Macy, everyone. She's our event planner. My new details are Macy. Well, welcome. I can't even tell you how excited I am, and I'm really honored that you all flew in. Most of you from all over the country drove down, flew in. And many of you I know and I've met, and then some of you I haven't. So this is really fun for me. This weekend is for you. I'm here as a speaker. I'm here to share where I am in my journey and to lead some of the conversations. But I'm not here anything more than a peer. I'm in the journey with you. And the work here is, we've done this for you. But really the best work that's going to come out of this workshop is the work you do together. So what I found, and where all this has started to come from, and I'll tell a lot of stories, it's been quite a venture, adventure maybe is a better word, to get where I am right now. A lot of learning, a lot of happiness, and a lot of despair. And a lot of health, and some very severe sickness. And so through all these ups and downs of life and journey and just who I am and the way I'm just a studier of life and deep into become self-actualized and the best person I can be, I'm always just studying and learning and trying even from the worst of times to turn a lesson, turn it into a lesson, turn it into an opportunity. So that's what you'll get from me is a lot of that story and where it's brought me and what I've learned along the process that I hope that there'll be some ahas or some wins or something that you can take home with you based on where I am right now. But otherwise, this is for you. The idea, I think most of you know, my real estate background is real estate. And for most of my life, that's all I've known. Gary's real estate, so we've really built our life on real estate. We've both been very successful, both in sales, in investments, and in building the business. So our entire real estate team was kind enough to let us borrow this place from them for 3 days. But that's what we've mostly known our entire lives and where we've sort of built our fortune. And then 2013, I got really sick, and that sent me on a new path, and it sent me on a path that I never intended to be on. It's really, I find it fascinating to be where I am at this moment because it was never in the plan. It was never on my success plan. It was just very focused, type A, had it scoped out. That's where I was going, get out of my way, you know, throw you off the back of the bus if you weren't in it with me, and just very disciplined about it. And focused, but I don't necessarily think in a healthy, good way. And with the near-death experience, it totally transformed me in a very different philosophical way of being and moving in the world. That interestingly enough is, for me, a far happier place to be, and ultimately it's been far more successful. So anyway, where we are today with the money thing, people are like, well, how did you go from this real estate thing to this money thing? And that will be some of the story I'll tell you later. But then it's moved even from this money thing to this marriage and money thing. And some of you might think, like, who are you to be talking about marriage and money? And I don't really know the answer to that. Other than I really believe that right now what I'm doing is my life's work. The stuff I'm going to share with you is like been given to me. I think some of it it's come up from, again, it's come from a lifetime of study and being in the work and in the journey, and I kind of look at myself as my own case study. So I go through things and test myself and others and experiment and sort of realize and understand, oh, there's a framework here, there's a model, there's some principles at work, and I think now I can better see them, and then I can put them and present them to others based on what I've learned. But the marriage and money piece, I started with the money. I wrote a best-selling book called Falling for Money, and it was really, I just wanted to share what I've learned in my money journey. There's lots of you here that can be teaching the money piece, so I'm certainly not here speaking as the ultimate expert, but I'm going to teach money differently. And so I really invite you to be curious. I'm sharing money from the way that I view it and I work with it, and Gary and I use it in our lives, and it's very counterculture. It's very unfinancial planner. It's very different than what most of us have ever probably been taught about money, if we've ever been taught about money. So I really invite you and ask you permission to just experiment with me and come with a really open mind and see where it takes you. A lot of it will fit with probably what you've already been doing, but some of it might be a little bit different, or maybe it's at least framed up in a way that you can work with it better, that you can use it differently. Maybe you can gain a new mindset that is really much more powerful and stronger. So that's the money piece. And then in the last year of talking money, teaching money, writing about money, really finding myself interested in talking about this subject at all. Like I said, it wasn't ever in my path. What came out of the last year's work of creating this new business is that all these people would come to me and say, Christina, like, I really love you've really shaped my thinking in money, or you really helped me, or wow, this is really great, or wow, I've got over my hangups. But how do I get my spouse involved? Or this is all great, but you know, my husband and I fight about money all the time. Or wow, this is so awesome, Christina, but my wife, it just spends and goes shopping, and how do I stop her? And you know, all these things. I'm like, well, you don't. And so it just came to this place where I realized, like, oh, marriage and money. That it's really, that my personal passion in life is to live a good life. And we're going to call that the wealthy life moving forward, and I'll explain what that means. But part of having a good life is having a good marriage, or a good relationship, and good relationships. Would you all agree? So I know what I found in my own journey is that when we as couples, or even singles for that matter, but we want that partner, that money partner in life, it's really difficult to have a really vibrant, ambitious, solid, good marriage if you're not on the same page with money. Would you agree? And if money's that friction point that causes us, even the best of us, with best of intentions, with a pretty good marriage, if we don't get solid with the money thing, it can cause unintended stress, it can cause friction, it can cause fights. And it can get in the way many times of just that flow, of just things working and moving the direction we'd like them to go. So it can be that it's that hurdle, that stumbling block, that friction. It just sometimes keeps us from moving forward. So that's where it came to me, like, oh, well, having good relationships and a good marriage is really important to have a really good life. And money is really, it's a pillar of a marriage. The way I think about it, it's almost like the three-legged stool. Like you can't, the three legs, the chair can, you know, you can sit on it with 3 legs or